What's up, Porch Nation? Welcome back to Porch Nation headquarters here in the frost-covered Worcester, Massachusetts. It was Week 8 here in the Greatest League, the beginning of the second half of our regular season, and we had some big games to get it started. With half of our regular season play through and the second half already well underway, we have no time to mess around. Week 8, 8 games, and a second half start. Let's get into it. All right, Week 8 saw everyone playing outside their division, so some North versus East and South versus West action for our first of the final 7. Let's start where Pete took on our league leader in James Berger. Unfortunately for Pete, production from CeeDee Lamb meant production from Dak Prescott. On top of that, Berg only saw 3 roster spots fail to eclipse at least 10 points, whereas Pete had 5 roster spots fail to hit at least 4 points. Berg rolled on easily to our league-leading 7th win and his 3rd in a row. Speaking of 3 wins in a row, I faced off against Adam this week. Almost all of the 18 points Adam missed from his projection came at the hands of Tyrod Taylor, and I posted this week's highest score to snag my 3rd win in a row. And, following the rule of 3s, Joe Parisi also won his 3rd in a row this week. This one was a narrow victory over Jeff, who has seen some struggles even when his team shows up. Joe saw a drastic fall from production when Mahomes and crew were embarrassed by Denver, but he held on enough to win by less than 4. The South has been fun to watch this season, with a 2-game difference between first and last place, and everyone with at least 1 divisional win through the first half. Josh Steinberg has been amongst the league's leading scorers while bottom dwelling in his division. Well, this week, he continued to put up big points. Unfortunately for Ross, who started out early putting up big points as well, he's seen some drastic fluctuation in points in recent weeks. He's also come into this game having lost 4 out of his last 5. Josh wins this one easily and now finds himself just 1 game out of the lead in his division. Ross is still just 2 games out of first in the West thanks to Ethan's recent struggles. In the battle between Alex and Andy, we saw 2 second-place teams trying to get a step ahead in their divisions. Alex beat Ethan last week, putting him 1 game back in the West with the early season tiebreaker. Andy has been 1 game out of first for weeks. Well, Alex had a commanding lead coming into Monday night, and he and Andy had 1 IDP each left to go. Although Max Crosby performed well for Andy and Aiden Hutchinson did very little for Al, it wouldn't be enough for a comeback, and Alex snags this one by just over 8. Josh Marshall came into this one having lost his division lead to Dylan in a head-to-head last week, and Dee was looking to go on a win streak, having won her 2nd game of the season last week. Well, Devontae Adams did so poorly that Josh McDaniels and anyone who's ever known him was fired from Las Vegas this week, and Josh wins this one easily, posting this week's 6th highest score. Speaking of Dylan's East Division lead, he faced off against Steve this week, and it was a doozy. Steve has been trailing 1 game out of first in the North for pretty much the entire season, and with Berger winning handily this week, pressure was on for Steve. With Josh Marshall winning handily this week and Dylan only having a half-game lead in the East, the pressure was on for him too. Well, this one came down to Monday night, and Steve would see his margin of victory in the form of Amon-Ra St. Brown's 10 points over Michael Mayer's 2 for Dylan, and Steve stays 1 game out of first, and Dylan is knocked back to 2nd in the East. And now, our game of the week. Ethan started this season off hot and has seen his division lead get ever smaller as he's lost now 3 out of the last 4, including the 2 most recent games. Alex has won 3 out of the last 4, so Ethan's lead has dwindled now down to just 1 game coming into this week. On the other side, our defending champion Skinner came in having lost 2 in a row and was looking to keep his grasp on the South Division lead. Well, this one would come down to Monday night, where Ethan was nursing a less than 10-point lead, and Skinner had Jacoby Myers yet to go. Well, unfortunately, Myers couldn't even muster 2 points, and Ethan rolls on to win this one and keep his razor-thin division lead in the West. Alright guys, that's a wrap on Week 8, whose effects on our playoff picture will become clearer in the coming weeks. Obviously, we're already well into Week 9 as I say these words, so I can tell you we've got some big showdowns going down with a few still yet to be decided. So I look forward to seeing how all that shakes out. Until tomorrow or next week or whatever, keep thriving, Porch Nation!
Bloop. What I should show this is, what I should show this is. I didn't even finish this one.